playing the A blues scale. Two places to play over that. One of them is for that blues sound, traditional blues sound. You play within that A blues scale, which is like a minor pentatonic with the flat three, so right up to the three. Or you can go to its relative minor relationship scale. You can go to a sharp minor. And mix the two together. And then when the chord changes to D7, if you're a thinking guitar player, you say, well, okay, instead of playing A7, I can play A minor 7 because the D7 chord's really 5 chord of the key of G, so it's like everything's shifted there, right? So if I'm playing in that relative minor scale, the F sharp minor over the A7 chord, and the chord changes to D, I can still stay in F sharp, but it becomes like a Lydian pentatonic. It's like Locrian mode. But the easiest way to think of it is that it's like the F sharp minor pentatonic with the 5 replaced with a flat 5 or a sharp 4. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, anyway, you can do that kind of stuff, like if you're playing blues in A up here, which could also be looked at as F sharp minor. Change it to D. There's that flat 5. Wrong key.
I don't know. I thought that G sharp was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it's a little outside though. A little outside. So what makes all those things sound different? You know, what is it that makes... It's like when we were talking about playing, I can play an A7, or I can play an F sharp minor. They're both coming out of the same key. Right? A7, the 5 chord dominant chord out of the key D. So you can choose different scales from the key of D, different modes from the key of D to play in. And the choice of those scales has a harmonic basis. It's like I'm playing over A7. I don't want to just randomly choose those modal scales. I want to select scales that are going to be in harmony with that chord. What do I mean by in harmony? Well, harmony is thirds and fifths. So if this is an A7 chord, I want to go to the scale in the key of D that's a third below it. Third below the 5 chord is the 3 chord. So I can play within the F sharp minor scale. And that's a real simple concept, that relative minor concept that most players have been improvising for a while are aware of. But then you can take that same idea and you can expand on that. If I can play a scale out of the key that's a third below, I should be able to play a scale out of the key that's a third above. So over A7, I can also play, well, let's see. So this is the 5 chord of the key of D, a third above the 5 chords of the 7 chord. So here we are with that Locrian pentatonic. And that has a totally different flavor than the blues scale or the F sharp minor blues scale, the relative minor blues scale. So still coming out of the same key, we've got these 3 different flavors, really totally different flavors that you have access to. So another aspect of harmony, that's all based on thirds, scales thirds above or thirds below the chord being played. There's also the basic idea of chord resolution, which is fifths. It's like the chord that resolves into the A7 chord, into the 5 chord, which is the 2 chord of the key. So that means that I can also play, well, let's see if I'm in that. This is the 5 chord of the key of D, so that means the 2 chord of the key of D is E minor. So I can play an E minor 7. So if I want to play that over this, it sounds a little clumsy at first, until you take a look at how the E minor 7 resolves into the A7. And that's that there's a tension and release thing that happens between the flat 7 of the E minor moving into the 3rd of the A7. That's just the way the chord resolves, like so, all right? So if you take advantage of that half-step resolution, you've got something out of E minor that works and has, again, it has a different flavor than any of those other 3 scales. So over A7, we can play the blues scale. I can play in its relative minor, the 3 mode out of the key. I can go up a 3rd and play that D Locrian scale, the Locrian pentatonic, and that's got a different flavor. Or I can play the 2 mode as it resolves into 5. And they all have these distinctly different sounds, and it's so much different than saying, well, okay, sure, I know all the modal scales from the key, but a lot of players, they know the modal scales, but they just kind of noodle around with them and don't really play them purposefully like this. They don't really pay attention to what they should be doing harmonically, or what they can do harmonically over a chord change. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the simple blues.